Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about Mean Girls, the 2004 comedy movie. There are chick flick movies, and then there are chick flick movies, and this, in my opinion, is probably the ultimate chick flick movie. It's one of the main ones I've ever seen. This came out when I was in college. And I remember my school got like an advanced screening for some bizarre reason. And so like I got to see this on like my birthday and stuff, get to hang out with like my friends and the rest of the people at school and went to the club afterwards and everything. This movie, man, I'm telling you, like this is something special and unique about this movie that's been replicated, but not to the high success of this movie. They struck gold with this movie because they took their time and they had some smart writers. This movie deals with every cliche of a chick flick movie, every trope, but it feels fresh and new, even though it's been done before. We've seen the whole queen bee type thing. In fact, this movie is actually based off a book written by Rosalind. I forget her last name. Um, a woman named by the name of Rosalind, and the book is like Queen Bees and Wannabes. And so like Lauren Michaels from SNL, he produced this movie. And he produced Freaky Friday a year prior to this, which of course is probably how Lindsay Lohan got cast because she was in that movie and he was very impressed. This is before she became a bad girl. This is when she was still had her it girl factor and stuff. And after this movie, she did like the Herbie Reloaded movie or whatever it's called. But then after that, sadly, she went down a very dark, bad path, and many mugshots followed and stuff. Supposedly, she's better now. Hopefully, she is. It would be nice if she would serve out the rest of her jail time instead of faking that panic attack, but hey, whatever. Or maybe it was a real panic attack. I mean, you are in jail, but hey, don't be a bad girl to society. By drinking your juice and they ain't gonna do that. There should be a movie called Don't Be a Menace to Society While Drinking Your Juice. And I forgot the rest of the title name. It's a parody spoof movie by the Wayans and everything. But anyway, so like but yeah, this movie was like, produced by Lauren Michael. And this is why a lot of SNL people show up in this movie, like Tina Fey and Tim Meadows and Amy Poehler. And now one other lady who plays Katie's mom, whose name, I can't think of her name right now. But this was written very, very, very smartly, in my opinion. There's even a racist joke in here where they use the N-word. And I remember when I heard it at that time, I didn't care about hearing the N-word. Like I could just care less. Now I hate it. But even though I hate hearing this word in the movie, it makes sense to how it was set up. Which is actually, this is the second time I've seen a Tina Fey movie use that word, which is something people have been getting on to her about why does she keep using that word in some of her movies and stuff. However, every time she uses it in one of the movies that she writes, she sets it up in a way that makes logical sense. Basically, it's a non-black person, white or Asian, who thinks they're black and everything and decides they use that word. And there are other jokes in here, like an STD joke that's in here that like is totally hilarious. There just should not even be hilarious, but it is. There's the whole teacher student relationship thing that's used in here that is hilarious, that should not be hilarious, and you know how I feel about that, but it's hilarious how it's written because it's set up in a way that's very clever. But yeah, and so like this is the ultimate it is called Mean Girl, but it's the ultimate queen wannabe type movie. It has a clique of people who dominate the entire school. And it's the cliche. You have the ultimate mean girl, in the form of Regina George. You have The Follower, and what's the Wiener girl name? Um, I forget her name right now. Played by Lacey Chabert. Gretchen Wiener, that's it. And then you have the idiot of the group and everything, which is Karen. And so, like, of course, in society like this, when you have girl groups, they're a group of good-looking girls, and they dress very fashionably and everything. They have money. They come from a family of wealth, and the thing about them is they don't like being challenged. They will make anybody's life a nightmare who does not look and act like them. And one of the things you always see in these movies, whether it be Jawbreakers, and I never seen Heather, so I can't compare, but in Jawbreaker, you have that one girl who's like the social outcast, and for whatever reason, they feel threatened by her, and they give her a makeover, and they put her as part of the group, only for her to become the new it girl of like the school and everything. And it's cliche and it's been done a million times before, but it works so well in this movie. But this movie really does do one thing so brilliantly that a lot of other movies don't. Even Jawbreaker didn't do this. It really puts you in the head and the mindset of what it's like to be a teenage girl, and a teenage girl being in that of high school, in a perfect high school setting. The way they use imagery to show that the cattiness of girls in high school is really like wild animals in the jungle. And they even show that in the movie. And it's bizarre when you see it, but it makes total sense. And it's a great imagery for you to really set your mind on, oh, this is how they kind of interact with one another. And it's all animalistic when you all think about society and stuff, whether it's politics or the movie industry or Hollywood industry and the music industry. It's all animalistic and everything. There's always that one dominant person. There's always a bunch of minions, and there's always the prey and everything. I think that is so clever. And so, like, and other movies haven't really done a good job of like emphasizing it, but this one had to literally mansplain it to people. But then it's kind of like, but you got it anyway. Why you have to be like a mansplain when you just see it? Like, if you didn't have the narration of like Katie, you would still get it. You know what I'm saying? Now, this movie is brilliantly cast. It's perfectly cast and everything. Lindsay Lohan does a great job as Katie Heron, the new girl at school who becomes the new popular girl. And some people actually turned this movie down, which is like crazy and stuff. I know Ashley Tisdale, she auditioned for it but didn't get it. I can't think of the name. Oh, Rachel Lee Cook was either offered this movie role or a Jawbreaker, but turned it down. I can't remember which one it was. And so, like, I think that was Jawbreaker she turned down, because there's another actress in here, something Wood, Emily Robin Wood or something like that. She turned this movie down. Oh wait, Rachel Lee Cook auditioned for Jawbreaker, but they felt she didn't have chemistry with the other girls. But yeah, Emma Robin Wood, or where I say her name, she turned this movie down. Boy, I bet she wished she never. No, Rachel. No, crap. Emma. What's her name? It's something Wood. I can't. Emma. I don't know. I can't read my writing. But she turned this movie down. And I bet she really kicks herself now, because this movie is just phenomenal in every way, sense, and form. And it really blew up at the box office and made mega stars out of everybody in this movie. Everybody in this movie, for the most part, was well known before, like Lacey Chabert from Party of Five, Lindsay Lohan from Get a Clue, The Parent Trap, and Freaky Friday, and Tina Fey and all them. But Amanda Seyfried, people never heard of her, but she's using a fake voice in this. She tried to do like a Marilyn Monroe type voice. and it works. I thought that was her real voice. But other people in this movie, like Jonathan Bennett, Lizzie Chaplin, like I never knew who any of those people were at that time. Dan Fran Z's, who plays Damien, nobody knew who he was at that time, and these people became huge as a point of this. Like Glenn Coco, who's not even an actor, he's just a character in the movie. People are obsessed with who is Glenn Coco because in the movie, Damien comes in and, Glenn Coco got like some roses or something for like a Valentine type thing from like a girl. And he's all like, Glenn Coco got two. Oh, you go, Glenn Coco. And people's all like, who is this dude? So you look the actor up online, it's like, oh, that's him. It's like nobody knows who the actor is, but everybody knows who that character is. And so, like, basically, what it is that this movie stars Katie Heron and played by Lindsay Lohan. And she is the new girl. She was homeschooled all her life, and she narrates this movie. And she's trying to fit into a normal, like, I guess you could call it normal lifestyle, more of Americanized lifestyle. See, she lived her life all like in Africa. Like she's born in America, but lived her life in Africa. Went on with her parents' safari and whatever they do and stuff like that. And like that's the type of lifestyle she lived. She hung out in the jungle a lot, observed like the animals. She had like a different lifestyle than people in America do. So then they moved back to America, and now she's put into this awkward social situation where she doesn't feel like she can fit in. And she doesn't at first. People are being mean and rude to her, bumping into her, and she has to eat in the cafeteria. No, she doesn't eat in the cafeteria. She has to eat in the restroom and everything. And she doesn't like it there, and she's just the biggest social outcast ever. Like she sees like a group of black kids and all like, oh, I can fit in with them because they're black. So, like the whole African thing. And then so she's like Jamba and everything. And they just kind of look at her like, freak, what did you just say to me? And everything. And so like she's not fitting in with nobody. But then like, she fits in with these other outcasts who are kind of like gothic alternative and stuff like that. Damien is like this straight dude, not straight dude, he's too great. I can't talk. She meets Damien, who's like this gay dude, and like he's too gay to function, which is something like Janice says and everything. And she meets Janice Ian, who's kind of like this goth type girl who's like an artist and has a very unique style fashion. Now I will say I am surprised her character is actually straight in this movie because everybody's getting like a lesbian vibe from her. And so like even characters in the movie that they tease her and talking about how she's a lesbian and this and that. But it's like it's weird because like she's written to be the biggest like lesbian character ever, but she isn't. Now, I remember I said in my Cadet Kelly thing that a lot of people felt like Captain Jennifer Stone, which is funny because it's the actual Jennifer Stone who was in Wizards of Waverly Place and knows Christy Carter Mono. They thought the character Jennifer Stone should have been a lesbian because they got that lesbian vibe. I never got that from her whatsoever, but this character in the movie, oh yeah, I get that vibe big time. And so they're the only people who want to be friends with her, and they teach her the social circle of the high school jungle, if you will, and everything. And this is where you get your cliche like tropes and everything like that. But then one day at school, when she's now has friends and she's about to like sit with her friends at school, Regina George notices her and she wants to know how come she doesn't know her. Regina George takes a huge emphasis in Katie and everything. And that's because she feels threatened and stuff. Here's this new girl. She looks like amazing. And it's competition for her if this girl ends up becoming popular and not part of her group. Because see, if she's part of her group, then she can control her and everything like that. So Janice has the brilliant idea of, hey, since she took a liking in you and all this other crap, you can spy on her and then we can talk about all the crazy, stupid stuff they did because Janice hates her to death. And that's because Regina told everybody that Janice was like a lesbian and her character isn't. And so, like, because of this, Katie starts spying on the clique and she gets like a makeover and stuff. She even has her Lizzie McGuire like trip moment where she stumbles over stuff and falls in a trash dumpster or a trash can, I should say. And so, of course, what's going to happen is that the outcast nerdy girl ends up becoming a real mean girl as time goes by because she's learning all the tricks and the trades of being a mean girl, how to talk down to people, how to judge people, how to um fix yourself up and everything like that. Her demeanor has completely changed and her friends are slowly starting to realize that because she's starting to blow them off and she's starting to talk like a plastic, which is the term that they use and everything. This could mean one or two things: the plastic credit card, could they use their parents' money to buy whatever they want, or plastic surgery. And so because Katie is now becoming a plastic, Janice is not happy about this. And so, like, they get into a huge argument. Now, one of the things that Janice and the group has been doing to Regina is like torturing her. Like, they cut off like holes in her shirt that shows like her boobs and her bra, but everything backfires. She just makes it as like a trendy type thing where everybody wants to duplicate. But they really get her when they start giving her these protein bars that make her gain weight and everything. And of course, she likes to keep her slim figure. Once she realizes that, she goes nuclear and everything. And so she basically tries to ruin that of Katie's life and stuff. And especially when she finds out, like Katie's been spying on her and this and that. So the girls have like a thing they call a burn book. And basically it's a giant pink book where they write all kind of bad stuff about people in the book, whether it's true or not. And they know stuff on all the girls in like the school. So, of course, Regina being the evil one and everything, she makes duplicates of it and puts it all over the school, which causes the biggest fight I've ever seen in a high school setting until that of Cobra Kai season 2. Everybody, all the girls at school are just trying to rip each other's hair out and stuff. They're finding out that one person did it with a hot dog, one person stole other person's boyfriend. The coach is messing around with like the Asian foreign exchange students and stuff. It is chaos to where, the teacher played by Tina Fey has to like calm everything down. And so she gets them to get into like a girls group and just write out their feelings and this and that. And then they have to do the whole trust me thing where you fall back and somebody catches you, which is really hilarious in the movie. It's the two mean girls who fall on top of each other. And so like the thing about Katie is that since she started being a mean girl, she blew off a lot of her responsibilities. She threw a party at her house that got completely wrecked. She tried to get with Regina's like boyfriend and stuff, who Regina was just cheating on. She tells him, which causes, him to break up with Regina and stuff. Then she used to be part of the mathletes, where she kept blowing off. And as punishment, she had to go back to it and stuff. And so it's by that time, with everybody now hating her at school, she has once again become that outcast and once again has to eat in the restroom. Her social ladder has now went back down to the bottom. And it's during this time she starts to realize that what she became was not the best thing. She just wanted to fit in. Everybody wants to fit in no matter where they're at. But the problem with that is her fitting in brainwashed and corrupt her so badly. I remember there was a girl in college I saw who was super nerdy. And I always told myself, if only she had a makeover and be more outgoing, she would have more fun in life. But then I stopped and I thought about this movie, and I'm just kind of like, no, she might turn into like a terrible person. And then I remember back in high school, there was this one nerdy girl with glasses. And I used to always hang out with her. I was like a year older than her. So I was a senior, she was a junior. And because of that, and all the attention I kept giving her, and she became popular and everything, to the point where one year she just completely dressed like completely different and started acting different. Now tons of guys were like into her and stuff, because before nobody was, and they actually thought she was like a lesbian until she started hanging out with me and all the hugging and stuff like that. And I kind of ruined her. It does happen and stuff. Because when you're that nerdy outcast of a person, and then you start to get a little popularity, it really brainwashes you and stuff. So, anyways, at some point, her and Regina have it out, and then Regina gets hit by a car. You think she dies, but it's just a fake out and stuff. And as all this stuff is happening, everybody now is starting, since Regina is no longer the top mean girl, since Katie's no longer the wannabe top mean girl, everybody in their group is now starting to calm down and everything. And even Regina has become like a much better person now that she's like has a neck brace and everything. And she realizes that she's not on top of her like game anymore. And so with everybody mellowing out, everybody now can get along. And so Katie has this big inspirational speech at like prom, when she wins like prom queen and stuff like that. And this is when the other two mean girls realize that what's the name's been using her and stuff. And it's a big, powerful speech that lets people know, you're beautiful just the way you are. You don't need to change yourself. Because even when Katie started to be back normal again, when she went to the mathletes thing, she looked at this one girl who was just like hideous looking, and so she started judging her in her head. And then she realized, wait, why am I doing this for? And everything for like, this is what turned me into a bad person. And so towards the end of the movie, everybody has now become a better person. Karen is now like, doing the weather at school because her boobs can't predict the weather. Katie's back to being a normal girl. Her and Janice are getting along. Even Regina's a nice person now. However, Gretchen has turned into the new mean girl. And now she's trying to act like Asian and everything and hanging out with all the Asian students. And she's kind of like the main girl of like that clique, or she's just another follower. I can't really tell. And so at some point, this is something people always have to realize. It's like, is popularity really that important, Or like, because if it corrupts you and turns up a bad person, because corruption leads to a lot of stuff. Like, take those nerdy people who become like the nerdy people who are kind of hot. They get that makeover, they become super hot. You know how it is. They start dating a bunch of people. They start acting slutty. They start sleeping around. It leads to drinking, sometimes drugs. And then half the time they look back on their life and it's all like, crap, dude, what did I do with myself, Now, since then, this movie has risen in popularity to the point where they made like a musical on it and stuff. The actress who is in Sex Lives of College Girl, she played Regina George in like the play of this and stuff. And then there's also was a sequel movie by ABC Family, now known as Freeform. Ugh. I could not get through this movie. I tried, but I couldn't. This movie just isn't good. It stars a bunch of former Disney Channel stars. And I praise them for trying to get out of that Disney rut and, use like, curse words and be like other people they never played. It just didn't work out, sadly. The movie makes absolutely no sense. I could not even finish it and stuff. There was supposed to be a movie called Mean Moms and this and that, but I don't think that ever materialized. Now, the stars of this movie, they said they would love to come back and everything, especially Lindsay. No wonder. And stuff. But I don't know, man. This movie, if they try to make a sequel, it's not gonna have that same magic as it did back in the early 2000s. This movie was perfectly set for a new era in time, you know? And with all the characters now older and have moved on, and their characters will now be adults and parents and stuff like that, why in the world would you want to still see them acting catty and like Mean Girls and stuff unless their kids are now that? And it's just not going to feel genuine or special. It's just going to be another cash money grab, you know? Now they could reboot it into like a television series or like a movie, but would it still have its same magic? That's the thing. You gotta have smart writers, a director, and stars of the movie. You just can't put something sloppily together like, the second movie tried. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.